What have we seen Gina in except for? I mean, yeah, she's been in. Tisha Campbell, excuse me, has been in the Kevin Hart, Real Husbands of Hollywood, where she's definitely been funny as hell.
My wife.
But
My wife and kids.
yeah. But her and Dwayne Martin, I mean, of course they're not together anymore. But it's like, I mean, how can you bring that back? Is Martin still a radio DJ? What's Gina doing? What's Pam doing? Hell, you ain't got Tommy no more, so what's going on? She grieving?
BDB, man.
I mean, what scenarios can you put together to really bring us in?
Same thing with the Living Single reboot that they were talking about for like a brief period.
I ain't heard that.
I don't even know how you do that. I mean, I guess the thing is, and it's same thing, and even though I hate to kind of bring her up, even Roseanne with that reboot, some stuff you just have to leave in the past and let that be it. Let it be in its own time. I think, right now people are so scared to just try new ideas. They want to bring back all of these shows, and it's just not the same. I mean, when we look at what we admired as a child or as a teen to an adult, I mean, how can you bring that back?
Exactly. That's like Fuller House. How can you bring that back? I didn't even watch one episode of Fuller House. It's like this, man. Hollywood has no ideas. They ran out of ideas.
Now, Stephanie, she fully grown, I'll tell you that.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't see Stephanie.
Man,
I haven't seen it.
All of them.
It's like that.
you get a chance, go do your Googles.
It's like, images. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he ain't never lied, but that's about the.
Yeah, since them damn twins didn't come back, it wasn't the same.
And what's crazy, when they talk to the twins, they're like, we don't even remember. I know you don't. You was a kid. You was a baby. You shouldn't remember.
I'm sure they remember those.
But at the same time, don't disrespect it.
Yeah, that's what got you to where you are. That was
You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Nobody didn't know about y'all.
Family Matters, man. When they did the review on that one,
Hey, they did my girl wrong, man.
talking about Jamie Foxx.
Man, they did her dirty, man.
Man, but
She went up the stairs, never came back
back.
down. That's cold-blooded.
But now we know what she was doing upstairs, though, man. She was
And that's cold-blooded, too. I mean, hey, she had to make it happen.
Man,
I ain't gonna knock your hustle, but... And then they did the reunion without her.
I didn't even see the reunion. They
Man.
did do it.
It wasn't necessarily a show.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
just like them talking.
they brought them
Yeah.
all back together, but they didn't have her. And I'm like, wow, like, how do you not have her? But at the same time, when you really look at the show, and when you really go back and look at the show, she really didn't have really a part in the show. It was just like whatever.
She was bonus.
Yeah, but back then that was kind of infamous with shows. Then they were able to find a new Mrs. Winslow. The original was dark, the next one was light. Same thing with
Wait a
Fresh
minute, when did
Prince.
that happen?
Yeah, later on in the season when the original Harriet left.
When the show got really whack.
Yeah, then they brought in a new mom.
For real?
Yeah.
Oh, I must have left the show after that one.
It
Yeah,
just-
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Now I saw the new Fresh Prince. I seen that
The
one.
new mom, yeah.
The new mom.
Yeah,
that
they
one.
they infants do. They can just make it happen, and I guess they just made it seem like Judy just was never born.
I don't know how the hell they pulled that one off. But speaking of the Fresh Prince, man, I mean, have y'all heard about
Aunt Viv?
the original Aunt Viv, the OG Aunt Viv?
Yeah, she was part of Cats.
Man, but she done lost her damn
She
mind.
bitter
Man,
as hell.
She
Oh, she's
bitter.
still mad though.
Oh,
Adam
man.
though.
Dog, it's been
I mean-
20 years though.
She still. I read, I saw something as recent as last week that she blaming Will Smith for one of her kids attempting to commit suicide. How did she tie those two together? I don't know. It's not clear. But everything, her bitterness and pettiness, seems to go back to Will Smith and other cast members from the show.
My words of wisdom is let it go.
Let it all go.
Yeah, let it go, because at the end of the day, it's just gonna make you miserable, and you might mess around and I don't know, something may happen that you don't want to happen. I don't know, but
Has she worked since?
I don't know if she's worked since, but I know she's been on. I've seen her on YouTube. I think she had a lot to say about the Stacey Dash situation. She had something to say about her, but besides that, No, I don't know if she's did any Broadway. I know, like before she did Fresh Prince, she was part of the Cats crew. You know, she was the Cats,
Man.
the big Broadway play back in the day.
Yeah.
Speaking of Stacey Dash, man, we thought she was the shit back then. Didn't we? I'm like, now she opened her mouth and it's just kind of like,
Hey man, it's money. It's all about money. It's all about
Don't
you
break
know.
it.
Hey, I'm gonna give you this because your ass ain't doing this anymore. So I'm gonna give you this so you can basically be the coon or whatever you want to call it for black folks or whatnot. I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't agree with things like that. Just like that sheriff in Milwaukee, he's like the worst of the worst. You know what I'm saying? Cowboy hat. Yeah, whatever, man. But when you talk, you sound real ignorant. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if, like, man, I'm just going to put it out here, man. There's a lot of police officers out here that either was bullied or was just a plain old punk.
yeah,
That wanted to be a police officer and wanted to just have that authority to try to be badass. In retrospect, you're not really badass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you got some ex-military, but most of them jerks, yeah, they been bullied or they felt like they need to prove something. You know, and it's just ridiculous, man.
shout out to Kaepernick for fighting that bullshit because people don't want to recognize it until it happened to them. But anyway, we're gonna talk about that one, man. 'Cause
Yeah,
that'll
we'll-
get my
yeah.
blood pressure up.
Yeah, because for those people out there that sit there and say football players need to shut the fuck up because you need to play football, how about I tell you, what do you do? Oh, I do IT. Well, why don't you concentrate on what the fuck you do and don't worry about anything else? How about that? It's the same way. Just because you sucked at playing football and he just happened to be great, don't mean for you to demean that individual because they were great for something that you couldn't do. You do IT, you do customer service, you a janitor at McKee Bakery, I don't give a damn what it is. If you feel like that you need to tell a football player that they don't have the right to have a political voice, that's his occupation. What's your occupation? It's the same thing. So if you feel like you need to tell him that because he's making millions and that he don't need to worry about, that's not his stance, I can say the same thing about you. You're IT. You're a janitor. You do customer service. You do retail. Shut the fuck up. I can tell you the same thing. It's the same way either way.
And he in a good mood today.
I am.
Now, we kind of going down that path, too, but talking about a lot of negative things going on, especially with what we see. And unfortunately, what we're talking about with the police situation is not on the TV show. It is a sad reality. But what are, kind of going back to that focus, what were some shows or characters, African-American, who did give you that negative, who you think, posed to be negative and gave us a bad name?
You mean TV shows?
Yeah, TV, movies, music.
No matter how much I love the genre. I feel like black what they call it,
Blaxploitation.
Blaxploitation. I really feel like that gave us a really bad name.
So I mean, you tell me you didn't like movies like Scream, Blackula Scream?
Oh, I'm sorry. maybe this is the wrong thing for me, but I never seen that one. I've seen Dolomite. I've seen Superfly. Screw this new Superfly. I've seen the original Superfly. Even when they came out with Black Dynamite, that was the funniest shit ever. Because my favorite part is when your boy come in with all the pimps. When Black Dynamite come in with all the pimps, and he trying to tell them, well, if you sell drugs, whether you a brother or a friend, I'm just going to have to get you. Can you dig it? And your boy said, hell no, I can't dig it. Who the hell you supposed to be? I'm going to do what I want to do. It's the funniest shit ever. But, yeah, I think that really gave us a bad name. And also, man, a lot of these slavery movies, man, I get it. I think we all get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were slaves at one time. But, damn, do you got to keep repeating it? Like, we know. We know we were slaves. We know we got beat. We know what happened. You ain't got to keep having the same story. And then on top of that, there's certain slave movies where they be trying to look, man. What's that one movie that got Matthew McConaughey in it?
Something Jones or Jones?
Yeah, it's something Jones, man. Stop it. Just stop. Just stop. Don't try to make him look like the savior.
I
you know
didn't
what that
see
remind
that
me of? Remember Shira?
Yeah.
White girl, for real, in a jungle full of us, and she supposed to be that chick like Tarzan. Really? He's supposed to be that dude. Like he's supposed to be able to talk to animals. Man, really? Come on, man. Stop that shit. Like you can't really play us like that, man. You know, it's no. You're trying to make him look like, oh, he's the savior. No, fuck him and Shira.
So with you, it's more so of, you know, when it's, I won't say racial reference movies, but just the over saturation of these type movies. That's what.
It just gets on my nerves.
Yeah, okay.
Like every time, like we know 12 Years a Slave, we get it. Roots, we get it.
Every
What's the
Christmas.
other ones? We get it. Django was just, I don't know. That was a whole totally different thing situation, but that was some real shit right there. But besides that, man, I'm like, yo, man. I mean, I'd rather see positive things. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather see. I mean, I looked at Blackish and I haven't looked at Blackish. You know what I'm saying? But what I've seen, you know what I'm saying, they really hit those areas that need to be hit. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think the thing with the Roseanne situation, like what you was hitting on, Frank, was, do I feel like they should have brought it back? No. Why? Dan died. How the fuck you bring a dead-ass guy back? Like, I don't get that. Like, you're fucking with my intelligence right now. He died. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, you brought it back, but when you brought it back, you kind of you altered it to where it fit. Basically, it kind of did the same thing as Blackish, but it did it in a different way. Where Blackish was pretty much hitting the areas of, you know, social injustice and things of that nature. Where Roseanne was pretty much for the right. You know, they always had this right and left situation.
Yeah.
And it targeted that crowd.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I mean, yeah, she fucked up. Yeah, they canceled it.
It's coming back though.
I think we're living in a time where we're very sensitive
To everything.
and it's an all-time high. Now, let me ask y'all this: Has it always been sensitive or not? And the reason why I ask that is because as kids, did we even really want to pay attention to that?
Not really.
Not really. So with that being said, things like that were going on back then, but we didn't have the mindset to know that at the time.
But now, you know, I'd be interested to see this from an old head standpoint. You know, when the Jeffersons came out, when Good Times came out, Sanford and Son came out, All in the Family. Now, remember, All in the Family
He was with that.
Yeah.
Hey, Archie Bunker was with that shit.
Archie Bunker had no problem. And he did everything but say the N-word. And I think he said it even on the show at one point, didn't he?
But on the flip side of that, George Jefferson
Cracker
did what he did.
Everything he did, yep.
But as you know, it was a spinoff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you look at all of those shows and how they tackled social issues back then, and it seemed like, and I don't know, maybe the writing was better, maybe the environment of the country was better, but it seemed like those shows could thrive in such a way that they absolutely could not today. I think if you had All in the Family today, it'd be canceled within a year.
But I'm gonna tell you why. Because back then it was original.
Yeah.
It was a first of its time. There was nobody before that. They created that. They started that. So now we might look at it as, oh, well, you biting off what they did. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, like you're saying, it's a sensitive country. What we got away with back then, you might not get away with right now. You know, because everybody is, oh my God, up in arms. Oh, Jesus, he's saying this and that. Look, man, you gotta have tough skin. And I think with us being how old we are, when we were born, who we are, I believe we have that tough skin. And I just think right now the